If you've gone to a Golden Knights game in Las Vegas, you have almost certainly heard his booming voice telling you it's nighttime. In-arena host for the Golden Knights, the Raiders, and Top Rank Boxing, Mark Shunock joins us this week on Nevada Week in Person.
Support for Nevada Week in Person is provided by Senator William H. Hernnstadt and additional supporting sponsors.
From Sault Ste. Marie in Ontario, Canada, Mark Shunock developed a unique combination of skill sets as a child, playing hockey, playing the piano, and singing. He would go on to goaltend in the Canadian Hockey League and later perform in Broadway musicals, all before becoming in-arena host for Vegas's first Major League pro sports team, the Golden Knights. Mark Shunock, thank you so much for taking the time to come in.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Oh, yeah, did you like that intro?
Yeah, that was great. You should be my agent. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
We were talking prior to going on camera about the crazy schedule that you are leading, and next week doesn't have anything to do with the Golden Knights, but you are booked full. What is going on?
It's just a great week for Vegas. You know, the National Football League is here with the draft.
So you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I'll participating a little bit on the Bellagio stage, that incredible stage they're building over the fountains. I'll be there. Top Rank Boxing Fight Week here, a huge championship fight with Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson at MGM Grand Garden. There's a Monday's Dark event on Monday night, the grand opening of the Palms. I'll be helping with that on Wednesday. So it's a full week, but that's what makes Vegas amazing, and I love it. Wouldn't change it for anything.
And Monday's Dark is so important, your philanthropy aspect, which we will get to. Let's go back to life in Canada. Describe to me this town, the importance of hockey, but then how also you got into singing and playing piano.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. Sault Ste. Marie is a special place. It is home for me. You know, it's where I grew up. And hockey is ingrained in everybody who grows up in Canada. And being from Northern Ontario, home of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, I spent my childhood going to the Memorial Gardens and watching hockey. So it's a special place. It's a historical place for hockey. A lot of great players spent their time there in junior. Wayne Gretzky, Rick Tocchet, Jeff Bukaboom, Joe Thornton, Robin Lehner, Colin Miller. A lot of guys played their junior days in my hometown, and so it was a great place to grow up.
Does your father have a part in that team?
Yeah, so in 1988, the team was owned by Phil and Tony Esposito, amazing hockey legends, right? And they were going to sell the franchise to the CompuWare organization in Detroit, Michigan. And it would have been at that time the first Canadian junior team to relocate to the United States. And my dad was like, hold up here, hold up. We have a steel mill and a hockey team, and you can't take either out of our hometown. And so he approached the Esposito brothers and said, hey, if we put a group together locally and matched the offer, can we keep it? And they agreed. And it's been a part of our family ever since. Even to this day, my father is an amazing 83-year-old just bull who loves going to the games. He doesn't miss any of them, and it's just a big part of our family.
He's got to be awfully proud of you, but where did this singing and playing piano come in, and how?
I don't know. I think I'm the youngest of 5, so we had a big family, and dinners were always, every night, all of us, all 7 of us sitting at the table, and I don't think I got to say much when I was, the youngest early on, and so I think I would get back to my room and listen to whatever music was popular at the time. And I think because I had 4 older siblings, I was introduced to so many different styles of music. And my mom encouraged me to just take piano lessons. And I was that goofy goalie who would be on the ice singing from his crease when the play was down at the other end. And fans would hear me and they're like, what is that kid doing out there? And, it was just a cool childhood and a special place to grow up. Like I said, I love it there.
The Canadian Hockey League, how does that work? Because it was at what age you decided I'm not going to do hockey anymore?
Yeah, that was a tough call for me. You play in the Ontario Hockey League from the ages of 15 to 21, and it's an incredible program that feeds the National Hockey League. If you look at how many players come from the Canadian Hockey League into the National Hockey League, it's significant. But like anything else, you have to make those tough decisions. And, I probably could have gone on to play in Europe or in, minor leagues somewhere. I'm not a big guy, but back then goalies weren't, 6'2", 280 pounds like they are now. It wasn't in the cards. And so it was a tough call that day where I was like, I don't think I'm playing hockey anymore. And, as a kid from Canada, everybody wants to raise the Stanley Cup.
Okay. Well, I think, was it 19 years old?
Yeah, I was 19.
And there
20.
was a crucial trip to New York, and what happened there?
Yeah, we went to New York City for a little vacation, and I had never been there. And again, growing up sort of isolated in Sault Ste. Marie, I wasn't aware of these incredible theatrical programs that were offered by universities, NYU Tisch or Juilliard or Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. Just didn't know anything about those programs, but I knew that I had this bug to be on stage. I auditioned for a conservatory called the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. It's the oldest English-speaking acting school on the planet. It's not musical, it's just acting. It's serious. Let's rip scripts apart and learn our lines. And I was fortunate enough to spend 3 years in that program, and I ingrained myself in the theater scene in New York City and learned as much as I could and surrounded myself around as many incredible artists as I could. And the rest is history. It took me on a different path.
Well, part of that path being the Lion King.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata.
What was your role?
Yeah, I got to play Timon, which was voiced by Nathan Lane in the movie, and I got to sing that iconic song that everybody sings along to, and that really changed the game for me. I was a part of this Broadway community, and being able to share that story every night with families and their parents, and seeing the kids come backstage and look at these incredible puppets. And at that time, I think it was the largest Broadway show going. We toured the country for 3 years, and 20 semi-trucks would roll into a city, and we'd take over. And it was something really special for me, and I won't ever forget it.
You say puppet, and so when I've seen a picture of you, it is almost, it's like attached to you because you're painted.
Yeah.
Explain how that works.
So Julie Taymor, who created the Broadway show and designed all these puppets, Timon was a 4-foot puppet that was attached at my feet, my waist, and my head, and my hands were free, and I would operate this puppet. Again, I mentioned I'm not that big, so it was almost as tall as I am. And we'd just walk around and make this puppet come to life. And I was painted green so that I would blend into the jungle behind me. But it was just such an incredible experience, and to be able to be a part of a show that is so iconic in our culture, and that song, everybody would start singing along with us, and it was great. It was really great.
So you continue into another musical, Rock of Ages. Different role.
Much different. Iconic 80s music, a feel-good escape for 2 hours for people. I think that's the most important thing as an entertainer or an actor, performer, is that our job is to make you forget about your worries for a couple of hours when you walk into a movie theater or a live theater or even to a sporting event. You want to forget all the BS that's going on in your life. And Rock of Ages really did that. We came to Vegas, we played the Venetian for 3 years, and I thought, well, I'm going to do this for 6 months to a year, and then I'll go back to New York or LA, and I never left. Las Vegas is home. I love it here. Coming up on a decade now this fall, and Rock of Ages, anytime you get to sing Foreigner, Styx, Journey, REO Speedwagon for a living, that's a good gig.
And then Magic Mike. Not as a performer.
Yeah, we won't talk about Magic Mike
No,
too much.
you don't want
no,
to.
It's fine. Yeah, so the company that managed Rock of Ages was working with Channing Tatum, and they needed a goofy, kind of energetic opening to set the stage for these very attractive men to come out and rule the night. It's emceed by a female host, but she was a plant, and so I would come out dressed in just an awful outfit, gold chains, deep V, more product in my hair than I have now, and I would sort of pretend that I was the host, and I told some really raunchy jokes, and eventually this woman calls me out, and she takes over the show and becomes the master of ceremonies for the night, and then I would disappear. So it was 10 minutes of stand-up to get the crowd pumped up and going, and then I would dart out the back door.
So between that job and your next job, the next job was the Golden Knights gig.
Yeah, the next job was the Golden Knights gig.
So you must have been feeling, here you are in Magic Mike, and what are you thinking? Like, what is my future, or what's next for me?
It was a little weird. It actually started while I was doing Rock of Ages. Bill Foley announced that he wanted to bring pro hockey to the desert. And I remember watching the news just like everybody else going, this is going to be awesome. We got to get a hockey team here. I literally picked up the phone and cold called Fidelity Financial, and Todd Pollock, who's my boy to this day. He was the #1 employee, the only employee for Mr. Foley at the time, and he was in charge of this campaign called Vegas Wants Hockey. And I called him and I explained exactly what I just said to you. I was like, I'm from Sault Ste. Marie. My dad bought a franchise, a junior franchise. I know the game like the back of my hand. How can I help? And so I joined the Vegas Wants Hockey Committee, went to Mr. Foley's home, and he said, listen, your job is just to convince people in Vegas to give us a deposit for a season ticket, and then I can go to the league and say, hey, we got a fan base, T-Mobile is being built, we'll get a team. And I was like, this is great. So I was literally like a little politician calling all my friends going, can I get $1,000 for a team that doesn't exist? Trust me, it'll be awesome. But we did it. We sold, almost 15,000 season tickets in a month, which was slow by Canadian standards, because if that were to happen like it did in Seattle or a market in Canada, they'd sell out in minutes. But we did it, and the league gave us a franchise. Mr. Foley wrote a big check, and the rest is history. They found out about my entertainment background. Todd came to Rock of Ages. Once they hired their front office, they said, hey, you want to be our host? And I said, yes, please.
Was that in your head all along?
No, not at all. I put down deposits. I still have season tickets to this day. I work for the team. I still pay for tickets.
Did your dad put down any money?
He helped for year one. He sure did. He was excited as well. Yeah.
Your success with the Golden Knights has led you to getting so many other jobs. The Raiders, you're the in-stadium host for that. Also Top Rank Boxing, as I mentioned. How different are all those venues in that type of, how different is a Golden Knights game from, let's say, Raiders, where 60,000 people at Raiders Stadium?
Yeah, different sports, but, my job as a hype guy, if you want to just call it that, it really doesn't differ. Sports fans are amazing, and they're so passionate about their teams. And especially in Las Vegas, we have, in my opinion, some of the most knowledgeable, passionate fans. And a lot of people outside of Vegas would not agree with me because they think of Vegas as just the Strip and nobody's really from here. But we have about 300,000 Canadians who call Vegas home. We have season ticket members who are diehard hockey fans who followed other franchises prior to becoming, ingrained in the Golden Knight culture. So fans in Vegas are amazing. Raiders games are outstanding, and we're spoiled because the facilities that we get to go and visit to watch these games are first rate.
It's been a different year, though, for the Golden Knights, not as successful. So how have the fans been? Have you had more trouble hyping people up? Granted, you're coming off, what is the date today? It's the 21st of April.
Yeah.
Last night as an overtime win for the Golden Knights, and I'm so thankful you came in this morning after all that hard work. But I don't know, odds of them making the playoffs are slim at this point.
That's okay. That's sports, right? And we've been spoiled for the first 4 seasons. We've had incredibly competitive teams, historical run in year 1 where we almost won the Stanley Cup. So, this is part of being a fan of a team. You got to take the highs, you got to take the lows.
Has it been a more difficult job for you this year?
Not difficult, just, more challenging, because I see the frustration in the fans on social media. We see the posts. But that just goes to show you how passionate our fans are about this team. They care that much that they're actually going to take to social media and say some dumb stuff. I was going to say something else, but this is PBS, and I'm not allowed to say that.
Thank you for taking that into mind.
Yeah, we've got great fans, and they got to take the good with the bad.
Last question, Monday's Dark, what is it? What should people know about it?
Monday's Dark is a variety show that I started 8 years ago when I was doing Rock of Ages. It's a 90-minute variety show where I partner with a different local charity every other Monday night. And in 90 minutes, we raise $10,000 and write them a check. It's as simple as that.
Mark Shunock, thank you so much for joining us on Nevada Week in person. To see this week's edition of Nevada Week, tune in on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. or Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. or anytime you wish at vegaspbs.org/Nevada Week.